Welcome to the Mobile Workforce Podcast, where we sit down and have real conversations with business leaders that have been where you are. During these interviews, we'll dive into what it takes to improve systems and champion processes that maximize performance. Each week, our trailblazing guests share their experiences and understanding of the workforce to help inspire change, challenge our thinking, and share what it takes to successfully travel the road to profitability. Now here's our host, co-founder and chief evangelist of About Time and WorkMax, Mike Merrill.
Hello, and welcome to the Mobile Workforce Podcast. I am your host, Mike Merrill, and today we are sitting down with Keith Post, CEO, Steve Little, President and Head Coach, and Jayne Williams, the CFO and Safety Manager of K-Post Roofing out of Dallas, Texas. With this team of leaders, we have a very special opportunity. We're going to record a two-part series. And with these fine folks today, we are excited to talk about and focus on the success of finding culture in their organization and making it a priority. With this team of leaders to come on a very special two-part series focusing on success and how culture and large client management plays into that success. Welcome, Keith, Steve, and Jayne. I'm really looking forward to the conversation today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey.
So before we get too far into the conversation today, give me a little bit of a background on K-Post and how each of you fit into this leadership team.
You should start. Well, we started this together, and they needed somebody to put their name on the door, and I got picked. And I had probably been in the industry the longest, so I was more of the true roofer in the group, and to this day, I'm the guy that we go to as far as how we do something. And so, you can't do it on your own. And we started small, and we grew fast, and we both took our lanes, and we all went our ways, so we could bond together and create what we have today, which is pretty special.
That was pretty humble, because you wanted to call it best roofing or some other kind of name that described what we were going to end up being. And Jayne and I kept arguing with him that he had the highest integrity in the industry. Even when we started our company, people from around the city would still call, even though we didn't have a job. They would still call Keith and ask him questions about the roofing systems or the applications or problems they were running into and things like that. So from being a marketer for many, many years, it was like, how do we take the guy that has the best reputation and throw it out there to get credibility immediately to start our company? And that's what happened. So we called it K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing. And when Jayne and I would call on different clients, or we would go to different events, and we would mention K-Post, immediately they knew Keith. They may have known Jayne from all her years of being involved in CFNA, but I was a business guy, so I was more behind the scenes. Jenny, you remember those days?
Oh, yeah, I sure do. It was quite the start for us as far as we didn't have a lot of Keith is, been in the industry forever and just really had a name to back up all his experience. And Steve's a brilliant businessman, and I just brought the financial and safety side to it and with that.
Well, you brought the car because we drove around in the car.
My car came our time when we were starting.
I think she had the credit card too at the start.
Yeah.
I did. I had a credit card and a car.
So we could be the money, Mike. And so we said, okay, well, we'll use your credit card instead of using our credit card.
Yeah, that's very true. That first few weeks, we started in November, and January 1, we opened the doors. And 11 people showed up on our doors and said, hey, and we went to work. And we tried to find a way to pay payroll.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, you have a rich and long history already, even though it's less than a quarter century old, I think. It feels like it's a lot older than that. One of the things that when I think of K-Post, and we've worked together for, I think nearly a decade now that we've known one another, I think of culture. Was that a conscious decision that you all made together in the beginning? Is that something you adapted to? Or how did culture become such an important part of everything that you do in your business?
Oh, I think it was I was going to say from day one, it was about making a company different than what we had been with before. We were going to make it better. We were going to take better care of our employees. Those twins that are out on the roofs that are 110 degrees are just as important as Keith and Steve sitting there at the table. And we wanted to express to our employees that they're not a commodity, they're not chattel. They're valuable assets to it. And so from day one, it was about making them feel part of K-Post, making them realize that the safety was part of their culture, that to be safe and get themselves home to their babies and their wives at night, it was the most important part. I think that's where it started was from day one. They wanted to make it better for everybody.
Yeah, years ago, we got our senior leaders together and we did cultural training because we're a diverse group. And one of the things that we were taught was that acknowledge that. And so we have flags in our warehouse of every nationality that works for us. And there's I think there's 10 different nationalities. And, you look at today's world and what the world's going through with all the rioting and the protests. And it's something that we instilled in our people way back when. I said, you know what? You come through that door, I don't care if you're black, white, brown, yellow, whatever. You're an equal. Anybody can come through that door and go into our refrigerator and get a Coca-Cola. We don't discriminate in any way. We treat people as your equals. And I think that goes a long way. That's part of our culture. And day one, Jayne has been the leader in this world. She's been mother in, and they all know that. And it's spread through the company. And we treat each other fair. We treat each other like we want to be treated. We do all kinds of training in that respect, as far as how to get along with your coworkers. Respect and honesty. If you can put those two together in everybody and know that when you come through the door, those are the two most important things when you work here, you're a long way. We've done things for our employees. We're very charitable. I can go on and on about what we do. And Jayne has been at the forefront of starting all those programs.
She started K-Post Charities. And in our charity group, we have scholarship programs. We do back-to-school backpacks. We help build homes and put on roofs for shelters. And we incorporated the entire company into doing it. So we did a men's and women's shelter for one of the developers here that pulled together the 3 largest general contractors in the marketplace and said, we need to give back to the community. Go find the subs that you believe in giving back. And they came to us, and it was a no-brainer. We jumped right on it. Keith led the initiative for that, and we got our residential group involved. We got our roofing crews and our sheet metal crews involved. We got some of our manufacturers involved, and we built this shelter. This shelter stands today as one of the best men and women shelters to help people get back on their feet and to gain employment and become confident back in themselves. So it's one thing about giving back, and it's one thing about taking care of people, but we've also created a culture of winning. And I think that's really important because people like to win. Even if they're not competitive, they want to be on a winning team. And, it doesn't go unrecognized that, we run our company like a football team, so it was easy to talk in those terms and have, red zone meetings or have huddles and have those type of things that kind of built a sense of that we're all wearing the same jersey. It doesn't matter if you're on offense, defense, or special teams. It built within the core values of whatever it takes and taking care of each other and high integrity and those type of things. It all came part of building a company. We didn't build a roofing company. We built a company, and we built a work family. And it was it continues today. And that's why getting Jayne back in the office, getting through all this COVID stuff so that we all can be back together again is hugely important.
Wow, that's really, really admirable and unique. I think you all would acknowledge that, especially in the construction industry. I mean, why do you think in construction maybe struggle a little bit more with having that type of a mentality and a culture?
It's not easy. It's something that you have to live it every day. Every day we wake up and we go to work and we try and get better every day. And you never quit learning. We have a K-Post University that is led by Yolanda here. It is incredible as far as what we're doing there. We're giving back to our people. We're training them, and you name it. Not how to put roofs on so much, but how to get along with your fellow employees. Life skills. How to de-escalate a situation. How to manage an employee who is out of line. And so and we're having it done by third parties. And it's probably one of the biggest initiatives we've put in play in the last few years. And it's really exploding. It's actually it's spreading from beyond our walls, and it's going into ABC, which is the Associated Building Contractors here locally. Their Construction Education Foundation is wanting us to help them start apprenticeship programs for the roofing industry. And so we're doing that internally. We're being a little selfish because we want to take care of our own people first. You only have so many hours in a day. And but we've got the foundation well on its way through some grants. And so we're getting part of the funding done to go forward with this program. And it's the leadership skills that these kids are learning. I say kids, these kids are 50 years old. But they're kids to me. And it's so cool. I love watching somebody learn something and then showing you how they can do it bigger and better than how they learn. So that's what you hear, it's just giving back.
But this is typical that we did it as a team. So Yolanda Garcia, she's our recruiter and our retainer and manages our education program. We have Thomas Williams, who runs our field. We have John Barker, who's our VP of Shared Services. And Keith, this committee has pulled all this together and then now is executed into the marketplace. Where we were doing this, where Jayne and I were doing it one-on-one and doing it through the various associations to bring people in, whether it be NRCA or MRCA or ABC, because that's where our faces were, whether it was being involved in incubating National Women in Roofing or the young guns, the council of young people in the marketplace. From a one-on-one type standpoint, now we've incorporated it in and put it into an entire university program here to our own staff of 400. And it's been very well received.
Wow, it's truly it's inspiring. I know, and I've been to these industry events, National Roofing Expo, and around some of these seminars and sessions, and it is not uncommon to have somebody talking about K-Post and the session that they just led or the technology they were utilizing. It really feels like, as an organization, you've become a leader, an innovator, and you're sharing best practices. You're sharing some of these secrets with people or companies that could be considered competitors, and you're doing it willingly. Why?
Well, that's really an easy question. I mean, one of the things that the three of us decided when we started the company is that we wanted to be the standard that the industry was compared to. And there's a number of great contractors in the DFW market, much less in the national marketplace. So it was really tough to start that. But we knew that if we took care of our people first, that everything would just fall right in line. And then once we got it up and running, there's a sense of pride of what you're doing. And then if everybody is sharing great business practices, then it elevates our entire industry. And the ones that don't want to participate are no longer competitors, because the ones that do want to participate then become the standard of the industry on which the client base wants to do business with. That's why we did it.
That's amazing. Jayne, with your role in all this, I mean, what as chief mother hen, also, what have you, from your position, what have you seen that you're proud of, that you're excited about, or that you feel like is something that you've accomplished, part of what you set out to do when you started this with Keith?
I think what impresses me the most and what makes my heart, well, I guess is the word, is seeing long-term employees, people that have been here since day one or been here for 10 years, who still enjoy their job. Who still, they want to be here. They want to be part of the family. It's truly a family atmosphere. I have seen babies born and, been to quinceañeras and everything that is a family type atmosphere. Long-term employees want to call me when something wonderful happens or something bad happens. And I think that really shows that we set out to make this a special place to work, and you can still make good money, and you can take care of your family, but you can also be part of something really special.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is you invest in your employees, not just financially, although you do that too, but you invest in them as individuals, as a family member.
Exactly.
And I think what's kind of cool for me is having friends who are not in our industry, who when their kids grow up and graduate from high school or college, say, man, you put my guy to work, you put my daughter to work. I admire you guys. You guys are doing some good things, and to have their siblings come here and start a career, and hearing the accolades back from the parents, say, man, this is the best place my kid could ever go. You can't ask for anything more than that. I mean, that really makes the world go round for me. Giving back to these kids and making our industry better. So we're doing something right when those things happen.
I'm knocking on wood over here, Mike. We got to make sure that we don't read too much of our own press because every day it's hard. Every day you have to get up and start all over again. And I think the thing that we share with the new employees is that this needs to be the place that you can't wait to get up in the morning. It's always going to be work, and it's not going to be perfect. We have to work someplace to be able to create the compensation to take care of our families. But we hope that we provide that type of atmosphere here at K-Post. I was a little surprised that Jayne also included part of what she's proud of is that we carry a 0.50 mod rate, which is a EMR modification rate from the insurance industry. It's a scorecard to where we are on safety for workman's comp. And so everybody starts off with a 1.0, and much like golf, if you get bogeys, your score goes up. And so everybody pays $1 for insurance, and those bogeys mean you pay $1.50, $1.25, etc. Your rating is a 1.25 or 1.5. The roofing industry average is just under 1.0. It's in the 90s. And we've got a 0.50 mod rate on $16 million worth of operational payroll. And it all started with Jayne's, I'm going to get our boys and girls home every night. And that was the thing that we started from the very first day. And remember those safety meetings we did in the back of the strip center, literally strip center, where we had offices in the front and 1,000 square feet in the back that was our storage and our safety or whatever. And Jayne would be back there with Luciana Perez, who's now a COSHA safety officer for our company. And they would, for the 2 crews that we had, or the 12 people that we had, they would conduct weekly safety meetings. And that's one of the things that I'm so proud for us as leaders, is that it was all about getting everybody home at night and trying to make them have a better life for their family. And that's a very long-term approach. And you ask, what's the difference in the construction industry? Construction industry is not long-term. It's bid, win the bid, go to the next project, win, lose. And we have always taken, the three of us have always taken a very long-term investment, knowing that we were going to have to give not only the dollars, but the sweat equity and the total commitment to get something 10, 15, 20 years down the line.
Yeah, I remember in our early years when we were so strong in safety and everybody was wearing safety vests and our jobs were set up safe, and looking at other projects that weren't. And now today, it's the norm. And so that really makes you proud because you made it a mantra. And a lot of people have followed that mantra. You know, we've tried to lead. We don't like to be second in anything we do. I'm sorry. I try to take it off 90, but man, it just goes 90. It's just the damn car goes 90.
And the school zone's 15, okay? So, right, Jayne? School zone's 15?
Careful going through Balch Springs. I got hit with a ticket there one time coming down to visit you guys.
I've been there.
About a mile of freeway, and it's crazy. Relentless. Wow. So really, I mean, there's so much that we could unpack around that. I think, I mean, the theme that I keep hearing is you've got to give to get. You got to give first. And if you do, you seem to have faith and hope and confidence that it's going to come back around. And what I love that I heard said is basically you're hoping to have that rising tide lift all the boats in the harbor. Now, you want to be in first place and in the right position, but you're okay with others being along for that ride as long as it makes everybody better.
And our clients subscribe to that. So I think about 30% of the total business we do as a company, price is not a consideration. And we respect that. We don't take advantage of it. But because I remember a quick story about a distribution center for the beverage business. And we went and did the job because there were 17 other contractors bidding it. The general contractor that was bidding this project typically was from the school world. And we typically are not in the new construction school world. It's just a very price-conscious, low bid, drive the project type construction business that is not our specialty. And so the owner was receiving the bids back from the general contractor, and they said, "Where's Cape Post?" And because we do all the service work and do the reroofs for this particular client, and the general didn't have an answer. They didn't bid it, kind of discarded that out of we don't consider them. And so right in the middle of the meeting, the owner calls Keith and says, "Hey, Post, why did you bid this job? You don't want my work?" And he said, not knowing that the general was on open speaker, he said, this particular general contractor had 17 people there. So we're not going to compete for that. There's no standard of roofing in that type of situation. We won't compete. He says, give me a bid. I want your bid. Well, we were 18 in pricing. 18. And they said, keep the contract.
Wow.
Because it's about safety, it's about quality, and it's about the value you bring. And it really doesn't matter that it's roofing. It should be that way across the board to all the trades. But when Jayne said, when we were setting our company up, the three of us were sitting around in this card table that's got this burnt mark in it and a hole there for gem clips and pens and sticky notes and things like that. And we went around and said, what's the most important thing that we could possibly do to set ourselves aside from anybody else? And with safety, quality, value.
Wow. Amazing. Been quite a ride, and you're still on it. You're still elevating it. It feels like.
It's a blur.
Mike, if you want to get in the roofing business, you can take the three of us out of it.
You're selling me, I'll tell you that. Even if it is fascinating. You all may remember my background was a general contractor, and we self-performed, and so I've worked with a lot of roofers over the years, and the speech that's coming from you all is a little different than what I'm used to hearing, and I think it's it's a beacon of hope and of something that I think is a lot bigger than, like you said, just roofing. I think business in general, but especially in construction, I obviously, to take some of what Jayne said, it warms my heart to see contractors succeed and do well, because I know how hard they work. I know the kind of risks that they take with safety and financial risks. And it is a tough business as it is. It's competitive and all the things that you laid out. But I just applaud your efforts to take that higher road and play the long game and not try and Hail Mary every play like I think some companies just kind of end up doing. And I think they create a culture of that. And I think that's not safe, and I think it's not prudent. And so I think a lot of businesses could learn from your example and the way that you guys operate your organization.
We're blessed, and we know it as a company and our people. But I think that we should talk a little bit about our people, because one of the things that we've had to do is when the three of us started this company and we had 8 others that joined us, it was empower and get out of the way. And it's so hard when you have this company with this trajectory that we have great people.
Great people. And, when you lose a great person, we've been very fortunate that we've had somebody step up. And typically, they've done a better job. I think that we've improved. I think we've gotten younger. We've definitely gotten younger. I mean, our youth movement has been incredible the last 2-3 years. And we've had a lot of great people come through these doors. And we've been known as a training grounds and on all aspects. And I think that goes a long way. Anybody that has ever worked for us and has ever moved on for whatever reason has come back and told us personally, thank you. You gave me something that I never got anywhere else. And it's made them be a leader of wherever they live. So, people grow, and there's always, opportunities. We try and keep our flock strong and growing gradually. And I think we got a great team.
Did you just say growing gradually? Jay, did you hear that?
Our flock.
Did you just hear what he said?
I can't talk.
Oh my God. Jayne, talk about our first 3 years. What was our plan?
Well, we were not going to have more than 100 employees, I believe, or 10 million in sales, and we blew that out of the water after year 2. We might as well. We never stopped growing and.
I had to call you out because.
I got better.
Yeah, because the difference is that when you're going the first 3 years, we want to do 6, 8, and 10, and you do 8, 14, and 16. And then you jump right up there to 22 in your 4th year. When you get into the kind of numbers that we have now, and we're in the $70 million range, you can't have those 30 and 40% growth. It's just unsustainable to be able to do it. And in today's world, and then one of the other things that's made us successful, we stay in our lane. We gotta know what we do. It's got to be complicated and high profile if it's a new construction, or it has to be with a partner that we've done business with in the past. It's got to be a multi-facility client if it's going to be in the remedial side of the business. And so one of the other things I think that's made us successful is that we stay in our lane.
Sort of. I think sometimes, Keith had great ideas, and I've always been forward thinkers. And so we have added a few things to our repertoire that from those first few days. But I think the biggest thing for us was as we were growing, we were also growing ourselves. We were changing into different types of leaders and different types of even just coworkers for each other. And so, if Keith all of a sudden says that we were growing gradually, I don't know where that's coming from, because he's never had a stop button or even an off button. And but I think it was just a natural flow of us just growing as people and leaders, and then encouraging our employees to do it.
I'm hearing do as I do, not as I say, right?
That's exactly right.
So looking back, maybe we can start with Keith and then Steve and then wrap up with Jayne on this. But looking back over everything you've all learned in your careers to date, I know you still got, probably 20 years in the tank each, right? Is that right?
Divided by what?
Yeah, that's right. So looking back, what would you tell someone else that's either got a business up and running and really needs to fix their culture, and then maybe also somebody new? What advice would you give them starting out as it relates to culture?
Respect is huge. Honesty that's a given. If you're not going to be honest, you're not going to be in business. And treat everybody with fairness. I mean, you cannot not be fair to everybody. I mean, it's and put a smile on our face. Every day, walk into somebody's office and make sure you're involved. Make sure you're engaged with the people. I try and go through our buildings every morning and tell everybody, good morning, how you doing? Ask them about their life. We have all of our meetings start with our best and best. What's the best thing that's happened to you in the last week? And what's the best thing that's happened to you in our business? And so I want them to share. I want them to be open. I want them to be engaged. Because if you're not engaged, you're not going to succeed. And we can help you with the other stuff. You need to be engaged. We got a new apprentice upstairs that been here about 3 weeks, and he's been sitting at his computer. I've been by him and I've met him and said hi to him every morning for about 2 weeks. And so I went by him the other day. I said, "If you want to succeed here?" He goes, "Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir." I said, "Get engaged." I said, "You need to get out of that chair and go ask for help. You need to go around and start being open, because this is a fast place and you may get left behind." I said, and as soon as I was talking to him, 2 people came up and started getting engaged with him. And I came up there this morning and I noticed how he was in a huddle with 3 people and he was speaking up and the kid was engaged. Now, this is a kid who's 21 years old, right out of college, 22 years old. And if I got to do that every day, then I'll continue to do that. And hopefully that's infectious. Hopefully that's something that everybody else sees, says, you know what, this guy's really got something, He doesn't know where the bathroom is yet, but he's starting to get engaged. And so today, for me, was a success. Just seeing this kid starting to care and want to be part of the team. And so, that's all I can do for these people is help them and ask lots of questions every day. Care about them. Caring is a big deal.
That's great. Steve, how about you?
I think sincerity is a key word in here. That you can kind of go through the motions, but if you don't show sincerity, that it becomes fake. And I have to give Jayne and Keith credit that when I first came on board, I'm the nuts and bolts guy, and had a little less caring or sincere attitude toward the units. No matter where they are, they were units. They were productivity. They were processes. They were systems. And both of them humanized it for me. And it's made me be a better person. So I think sincerity is one item. I think you have to be vulnerable. And that's something that we work on every day because it's not easy. You have to empower and invest in your people and in your industry. I know a lot of contractors that don't participate in local, regional, or national industry because they don't want to expose their people because they're afraid they're going to get stolen, or they don't want to away from the office because that's the time that they're not being productive. And we have gotten tenfold return on investment from us and our people being involved in the industry. And that's where things like our apprentice program and things like that are coming from. But we invested in these years ago, and now it's coming back to us on this end. So I think those are some key words to our success. And, commitment. You have to be committed to this whole process. It is not instantaneous. This is not a business you want to get into if you think that, in 2 years you're there. You get a storm come through and, you make a bunch of money, whether you're in the residential or commercial business, and you have a great year. You need to take those coins and you need to put them away because there's some dry spells that transpire, in this industry. It's a long-term play. It's not a short-term play. So I think that those would be my answers to as what help make our culture. Find good people and invest in them.
Sage advice. Jayne, how about you?
I think from the very start, anybody that's starting a company needs to remember why they're doing it. And if it's for just mainly the money and nothing as an employee or person, maybe you're doing it wrong. And I really believe that basically the commandment as far as treat others the way you want to be treated, and that's what I would recommend to anybody is treat everyone in your company the way you want to be treated. And then finally, I said it to students use that God hates talking. And you can be confident, you can be proud, and you can step out there and really be invested in what you're doing. And it's scary sometimes because you're hoping for the best outcome, but you can always be confident. I think that's what did it for us.
Fabulous. Well, that's wonderful. Well, I guess just to wrap up, one final question, just for Keith. I just wonder if you were to boil it down, what's your secret sauce for success, and what gets your juices flowing? Where do you feel like you're really in your zone for others to kind of learn from you?
Caring for people is number one for me, and winning. When we put a huge effort into a project and we're not successful, because when we put together a project, it takes 4 to 5 guys and women that all put their pieces together, and we do a lot of planning and just in the securing of a project. And we do presentations where we bring a team in and we do all that stuff. And if we don't win, it hits me. It hits the rest of the team. But I take it home and I regurgitate it 3 times what we did right or what we did wrong. And then the next day I forgot about it because I don't dwell on the negative. It may be a fault of mine, but if we lost it, we're moving on. I'll remember what we did wrong. But I love the success. I think it's not for me. It's for those teammates. They all got to put a smile on their face for all the hard work and efforts they did and feeding all the families that we take care of. 400 people requires a lot of food. And so we secure large projects. I go around and I give all the accolades to the team. It's never one person. It's the team. And so I guess, you gotta have losses to get better. You gotta have failures to get better. If you never have losses, you're never going to get better. And I'm at my share. But that bar is going to be, I'm going to be above the middle line a lot.
Fantastic. Well, that's a great way to end. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. This has been a very enjoyable conversation and had a lot of fun getting to know each of you a little bit better as well.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, Mike. Take care.
Thanks, Jayne.
That'll be good.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today on the Mobile Workforce Podcast, hosted by About Time Technologies and WorkMax. If you enjoyed this conversation today that we had with K-Post team, or the K-Post team, I should say, or gain anything helpful in your business, please subscribe to the podcast and give us a 5-star rating and review. You can also find us on Instagram @WorkMax_. Give us a follow there as well. Thank you, and we'll catch you on the next one.